with my clients, I'd create an activity first to create a baseline of information to work from before being able to utilize some of these great activities. So can I ask whoever wrote this, could you share what type of activity you would create to create that baseline of information? Who wrote that?
Maybe that's the person who split.
Oh, maybe. Oh, you know what? It might have been, actually. Well,
Jen. Oh, yeah, actually. And especially since this is clients. Yeah. I was wondering that.
Bill of Rights, it does work up through the unit, but, you know, they can notice if you want to get into the Constitution, there's a lot of readings and things you can do about how there aren't rights in the Constitution. It just sets up the government. But other than that, students know that they have free speech. They might not know what it means, but they've heard of free speech. They know a great thing to start with Bill of Rights is the ones, unfortunately, around arrests. They know about being read their rights, about speedy trial. And all I try to do with the Bill of Rights is to get them to know in their own words what the rights are, which is why I like the iCivics.org, because they can look at it and say, oh, that's the one that has free speech, and that's the one that's about guns, and they don't have to be able to read the actual language of the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, Jim?
Something you said got me thinking. Is it important to teach, like, Google search skills?
That is going to be a part of my activity. It is absolutely important to teach that, and I'm going to do an activity. Isn't that we keep making this is why you all stay till the end, because we keep saying, well, these activities, we get to see all Jamie's activities, and we get to see one of mine, that we'll get to that. Okay, so any other questions or comments?
I have one piece about baseline, and being that we're teaching adults, I'm pretty sure that some of us know this, but one part of the baseline idea that's a little hard in our classrooms is that it's how, I guess you should always ask yourself, how will I get to that baseline? How will I know what that baseline is? Because our students have gaps, not the void, they're not void of knowledge. They have gaps of knowledge. So that's one concern sometimes when people are so focused on finding that base knowledge, because you may be able to find an assessment or a test or something like that that can deliver get some of the knowledge from the students, but it's all wrapped around how they actually know that knowledge. So that's also a piece to kind of think about is if you're really assessing for base knowledge, make sure that you're assessing in multiple different ways and not just, do you know what the Bill of Rights are?
And the big thing we want you to come back to over and over again is what is your objective, right? If your objective is to have students be able to know that they have some rights and certain rights and responsibilities and how that has evolved through time in a general context, and be able to be familiar with a reference by Eric Holder to your rights, and that they trigger and they know what that is, then it is absolutely possible for you to get sidetracked in your classes, you know, because students might ask questions that don't have to do with that objective, but your job as the teacher is to continue to come back to what is my objective. And if you have a student that really is like asking questions about England, because I heard you mention that, asking questions about England or different things they just really want to know, by all means, feel free to sit down with that student and explain why that's not what you're getting into, but that doesn't mean that you're not. Sometimes students will say, oh, you're not giving me the information that I need. I need to know why did England have control over us? Why did we secede? Why did all these things happen? And if you, again, I just am big on really having that dialogue with your students about the objective that you're working to achieve and why you're not focusing in on that and how you're not trying to keep them from some knowledge that they really desperately need. And if they're just super into England, encourage them to look it up and give them some guidelines for looking it up, which I'll talk about with my Google presentation in a minute. Okay, so let's look at Unit 4 and 5. We'll do 4 real quick. Letters from the Birmingham jail.